Here's the thing. Children are fucked up little things. Think about the children that exist on this plane of existence and how fucked up they can be. Think about the things that are happening, right? You think a divine being in a child state couldn't fucking create something that could be as intricate as it is and simply just treat it as an ant farm? Just to shake it, see what happens. Throw some water in there, see what little ants do when they're scrambling about trying to fix things. Why not?
Yeah. A lot of people in that same context are like, well, if God knew that Satan would cause all this stuff to cascade down to where we are now, why didn't he just kill him?
Why did he not design, if he did design humans to be these perfect beings that existed, why didn't you design them to resist that temptation, right? Here's the thing, and it's
because if you're not tempted from something, then you're obviously controlled by something, and God doesn't want to be controlling.
It's as simple as this: either God's all knowing or God's all good. Can't be both.
Well, God's killed people,
so I guess he's all knowing, right?
And to God, it's not good or evil, it's necessary. I would say.
I disagree. What's necessary about children being molested?
Well, no.
What's necessary about rape and murder?
So, rape and murder, that's all from the human's carnal wants. Or, everybody's not going to have the purest thoughts.
Oh, clearly not. Yeah. Clearly not.
So,
Exhibit A.
But, I don't know. I can't see or read or even understand the mind of God. But, he's opened up the earth. He's killed people. He's done this. He's done that. And
I mean, based on what's been said.
Yeah, based on what's been said or what's been written.
But how many times has the Bible changed text? How many fucking different versions are there? How many different religions base it off of what fucking version?
It's been translated, yes, but there have been older versions that have been found that predate the translation's original, what they translated it from. It goes back before that.
And where is that?
And it says the same. It's called the Dead Sea Scrolls. But it's don't take my word for it. Read up on it.
Right.
And that's the same thing I do with everybody. I stopped going to a lot of churches because, they're like, they either teach prosperity gospel or, just do right by this, or they don't preach some stuff about hell or, and I'm like, I don't want to be a part of that. But
just based off of life experience, I think the Bible, at least in my opinion, is nothing more than a very well written children's book meant to scare you, so fear you to do good things, right? Because the thing is, and this is just my perspective, but regardless of what your fucking religion is, whether it's you're Hindi, you're fucking Muslim. Jewish, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, fucking Presbyterian, or whatever falls underneath the fucking giant umbrella that is Christianity, you should want to do right because you want to do right. Not because you're being told that at the end of the tunnel there's a big fucking golden ticket. Oh, if you do this, you get the golden ticket, Charlie's Chocolate Factory. You get all the fucking chocolate you want, but you got to do good first.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you? So for what? You're doing it for a prize. You're doing it for this eternal grand prize. Does that make you a good person because you're doing it for the prize? In my opinion, fuck no. You're no better than anybody doing something to be gainful for their own fucking purposes. If you're going to be a good person, be a good person. Simple as that.
Why would anybody run a race? Why would anybody run a race if the goal would not be to win?
You're talking about a race versus what? The grand eternal ticket at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, compared to that.
Well, you should. If you're wanting to run a race, that goes down to basic principles of you're just wanting to be healthy, be fit. Hey, I want to run this race. Doesn't matter if I win. I ran the fucking race, right?
So why are you running a race instead of just running around a park?
I guess that's the grand question, right? Why are you running the fucking race?
So you're wanting to win something. You're wanting to.
But why do you want to win? That goes down to that. But why do you want to win?
Exactly. It's all personal. It's not necessarily, you want to win something for the sake of.
Right, but when you look at, especially when it comes to Christianity, you look at it. A lot of people do simply do good because the Bible says I have to do good. How many of these people? Yeah, how many of these people would be doing shit of their own accord if the Bible didn't say, "Hey, if you did this, it would be a bad thing"?
And I believe that. I believe Joel Osteen. He's following the Bible not because of an end goal of heaven or whatever, but to get rich.
Right.
That's why he preaches the prosperity gospel. And he's taken the Bible, something that's made to, show you how to live a good life, and turned it into nothing but to get to bring prosperity to him. You can.
But the thing is, I guess my point being is that you don't need religion, so to speak, to just want to be a good fucking person. If you look at cultures that predate having involvement in Christianity, because at this point, almost every fucking culture out there has a toe, at least a little toe, in Christianity, right? And where I go back to is the Japanese, right? Because prior to Christianity being introduced to Japan, they believed in Shintoism, right? Mm-hmm. They believed that the gods, that there were gods of multiple things. You have the gods of the mountains. Everything has a soul. This table has a soul. The chair that you're sitting on has a soul. You treat it with everything with respect. But these people wanted to be good to one another because it came out of necessity, right? It came out of necessity because a lot of people don't know this about Japan, but Japan experiences a lot of natural disasters, a lot. It's a small island, right? So they're in a lot of fucking typhoons, right? Japan is right on the fucking fault line, so they experience a fuckload of fucking earthquakes and earth shatter, and a lot of their earthquakes are magnitude 6.0 and above. So big fucking things, right? But they band together as people to do good just for the simple sake of doing good. That we got to do this to prosper, right? Not for the sake of, hey, if I do good, then when I die, I will go to eternal nirvana. I will be showered with 19 fucking virgins that'll suck my cock till the end of my fucking days.
So you don't think they're doing good so that way you would do good back to them?
Well, that's the point. It's doing good for one another, not because there's a grand eternal prize of it.
So that would be the end goal for that, in order.
But I'm saying,
if I help you,
but what I'm saying is religion isn't necessary to be a good person.
Well, yeah, religion.
And there's a lot of fucking people that believe that. You need religion.
It's a man-made construct.
Exactly. Being good, what I'm simply saying is being good for the sake of being good should be the goal. Not because religion tells you to be good. Not because there's a grand fucking prize or there's anything to gain from it. Yes, there are things to gain from social constructs by being good to one another. If I have your back, you'll have my back. If I have his back, then he'll have my back. Right? There are things to gain from that. But religion doesn't have to be fucking tied into it.
We're going to have to talk about this more on the Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Hey,
playthrough or something.
I'm more than happy to talk about it. I'm more than happy to talk about it. Because the thing is,
that's the only way we grow.
Right. You know what I'm saying? If you can't see different perspectives or hear different perspectives, you cannot grow as a person. Then you're at a standstill. Having an open mind, regardless of religion. And I think that's where me and Bree, we clash a lot. Because she is very invested into Christianity. I've seen the ugly side of Christianity and Catholicism, rear its ugly head. It's not fucking pretty. No. And so that's what's driven me from that side of religion. You know what I'm saying? And then experiencing the things I have growing up and in my time in the Marine Corps and just experiencing everything I have. I don't really fucking think that,
My hands are soft.
You think your hands are soft. Because I think my hands are soft. When I rub my hands on Brie, she's like, there's like sandpaper. I'm like, what are you talking about? These bitches are soft as shit. It's soft as a baby butt. but it's really just sandpaper.
Yeah.
It's sandpaper rubbing
Put your
sandpaper.
hands. Put your hands. Dude. I'm sharpening knives right now.
Like he's
Well, you may put these bad boys in later.
like a little bit of flake comes out and shit. Oh yeah, this bitch is soft. Oh shit.
Well, I'm glad I got most of that on camera.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh
I was
nice.
recording for like the last 10 minutes now. But it was a good conversation though. That's the point. Like, and like, there's a couple times I wanted to interject with like my own 2 cents of the part of it too. But like, I like the way I was going so far. Like, I agree. You do not have to be a religious person to be a good person. There's a difference between being a spiritual person and being a religious person. You know what I mean? Like, I can do good for somebody else just because I want to do good for somebody. I can, hey, you're going through some shit, you went through something, oh shit, I went through the same thing. I don't have to help you expecting something out of it. I know what you went through because I've been through the same fucking thing.
You don't want it.
When I was in your situation, I wanted somebody to be there for me.
Right.
So for me, it's what I would get out of it is knowing that, hey,
I helped you.
I helped you. That's all I needed was that.
Right. In a time of need, I got the gratitude of just helping you.
Yeah.
You know, not with nothing in return.
Yeah.
You know, no, I feel better knowing that I was there for you,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully it helped.
Exactly.
Right.
And like that's the way I've always kind of thought about it too. Like, and like we harped on that on like brotherhood and shit like that too, about guys being able to communicate with each other, because the number one fucking thing that kills most men is suicide.
Mhm.
Yeah. 100%
You know, men are like 10, I think it was 8 times more likely to commit suicide than women, but men have like 9 times the amount of hard physical labor. But women are like 10 times more likely to go to a therapist versus a man. Women are like 8 times more likely to go to report domestic abuse than a man is. Or yeah, we talk about mental mental stress and all this other shit for the world, but nobody wants to emphasize that men are the ones who suffer the most from it. So like that's what we always talk about a lot whenever guys like, hey man, I'm going through something. When we've had this before, we've had plenty of guys come on, like they start just spilling out shit that's bothering them. It doesn't have to get emotional, nothing. Just
Last week was.
I'm fucking venting.
Well, I mean, and again, it's not always. And the thing is, guys, you don't always hear the conversations that are had because sometimes these conversations are personal. But last week, one of the guests that we had a very personal conversation and tried to speak with him and help him in that regard. Because the thing is, I sent it to you. That fucking song by Dax, To Be a Man. Dax fucking a lot of shit he hit on in that song. I was like, holy fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like that shit almost brought me to tears because it's extremely hard being a fucking man.
And like being a man, it's people will say, we don't need them. You don't have to be. Being a man is necessary.
Yeah, it is.
And
like I've been reading a lot of. I've been reading a lot more, and like one of my favorite books I've been reading is from Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
And dude, that man's got some fucking wisdom.
Oh yeah.
That man's got some wisdom, but like the first book I'm reading, I think it's 10 or 12 rules of life or something like that, and it's some simple shit, man. It's very basic. It's very like just own up to your shit. Be responsible for your good and your bad. And like I'll have to lend you the book. It's a thick little fucking book, but it's good.
Yeah.
But like I love the stuff that he talks about. That one of my favorite things is that is it necessary to be a man? Like, well, yeah, it is necessary, and like, but it comes back down to that whole, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than it is to be a gardener in a war. And what he says is that a man should not only be dangerous, he should be capable of being dangerous, and being ruthless, of being, very violent, but know how to control it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Like, master being the monster. Master being the violent, the vicious person, but then tame it.
The way I would describe it is master your own chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Be able to create and sow chaos in such a manner that you are able to completely fuck everything up in your path if you need to, but control it.
Mm-hmm.
Controlled chaos. That's the only way I can really describe it. A good man. It's controlled chaos.
And see, like, and I'm sure y'all are as observant as I am. You go into a room, some other people, you can kind of tell who is the guy who can control that chaos.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who's just stoic, he knows his shit, he knows what he's about, he knows his beliefs and what the hill he's willing to die on. But he's not trying to bring up that heel to you because it's not necessary at the
Mhm.
time. He's just like, I'm just gonna sit back, it's whatever, it's chill,
Right,
I'm
right.
enjoying. But then you also have the weak-minded, the weak individual men who don't know what they want to stand for, don't know how to stand for anything, and they're usually the ones all over the fucking place.
Yep.
And then those are usually the people, like, I know, at least for me, I don't want to be around. I'm like, ugh.
Because it's because as a man, it's draining.
It
You know
is.
what I'm saying?
It is.
And those are the kinds of guys they turn and look for guidance, but are unwilling to take the guidance.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, I don't know what the fuck to do, and you just laid out a plan in front of them. Hey, do this, and they're like, oh, I still don't know. Why the fuck am I talking to you?
Yeah. Then that boils down to another saying is, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't
Can't
make
get
it
a drink. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's the difference between, like, a lot of guys, though, is with the whole being emotional and, like, talking about shit that's bothering them. A lot of guys grow up with that mindset of, oh, you're a man, suck it up. You're right. Which, in all actuality, yeah, it does happen. You need to suck it up and move on and handle your shit you need to handle. But it doesn't mean completely ignore what has happened.
Right.
You need to embrace facts
Or
of...
address the issues you need to
exactly.
address. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of women have the misconception, a lot of times when it's like, hey, I want some time with the boys. It's not, you're not, I mean, yeah, occasionally you'll sit there and be like, fucking talk, just guy talk, you know what I'm saying? Just talk shop about stupid shit, titties and fucking stupid shit, right?
Mhm.
But then there are more often than not, man, when guys are having guy time, a lot of the time it's just like you're belly aching, man. You're
Yeah,
fucking
it
bitching. You're bitching about the shit that you can't bitch to about your wife. You know what I'm saying? That you can't bitch to about your wife. Oh, fuck the fucking kids, man. The fucking car. You know what I'm saying? Or shit that she's heard. She's like, baby, it's gonna be okay, right? You know what I'm saying? You're trying to talk to other dudes who are going through the same shit, and you're like, fuck, man. And they're like, hey, dude, no, fuck it. I totally get it. I'm going through that shit right now. I got this fucking shit going on. I got this shit going on. Fuck yeah, man. It fucking sucks. It's good, and it's good to have another man acknowledge, be like, hey, yeah, same shit, dude.
And like,
It
I don't
blows.
need you to help me with my problems.
Right, but
I just need you to be
listen.
the ear so I can bellyache about this shit. And if you're going through the same thing too, in a way, it makes me feel a little bit better that I'm not the only one suffering this shit at the moment.
Right. You just want an ear to bend,
Mm-hmm.
and just a little bit of confirmation that you're not the only person going through bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of women have misconceptions about that kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, when I'm going out, man, if I'm going to go out with the boys, my main goal isn't to go out and fucking cheat. My main goal isn't to go out and fucking try to fuck bitches or look at whores or whatever the fuck it is that women have this comprehension on. I'm trying to hang out with my boys because I'm trying to talk, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's been a long fucking week. I'm just trying to drink a beer. I'm trying to fucking relax, and I'm trying to bend somebody's ear who is outside of my situation.
And now that I hear you talking, I think a lot of the reason why a lot of guys don't feel like they're able to talk to some of their friends that they go to the bar with or something is because they all have these masculine personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like, you try to talk to somebody and, oh, this is what I would do in this situation. They cut you off, they do. But like in my speech class, the only way to be able to listen and be able to talk is with a masculine and a feminine way of speech.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say, if you have a feminine way of speaking, that you have to be female.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're going to talk, then if you're going to talk and you're going to tell me like, this happened, this happened, this happened, and I'll be like, oh yeah, well this is what I did in this situation, and I just go off on a rant about how I did what I did in order to fix that, versus listening to you and be like, well yeah, I went through the same thing. You want me to help you out or something else like that.
A lot of it has to do with just conversation in general. Is learning to slide the scales.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, so if you're belly aching about whatever, right? I need to shut the fuck up and just let you do your thing. I might have my inputs. Like earlier y'all were talking about those switch. I had like several inputs, but I was like, no, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and let them do their thing. Let them talk. It's the same thing on one-on-one. Let you have your time. Let you have center stage. I'm fucking backup singer. I'm waiting for my fucking chorus to come on. And then when it comes on, all right, I'll throw in my little 2 cents, whatever. And then if it's received right, you'll like, all right, that's a good point. I didn't fucking think about it that way. Right. And then keep going from there. but it's learning how to slide. And yeah, a lot of guys have that dominating masculine persona that they want to have.
They won't let you
towards-
finish.
yeah, they won't let you finish. They're like, well, yeah, man, I was talking to my girl. Well, this is what you need to do. I'm like, dude, bitch, I haven't even finished the sentence.
And then
shut the
at
fuck
that
up.
one
And then
instance-
and then I don't want to talk to you no more.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, bro, you're a fucking douche. Like, let's play some pool. I'm gonna beat you
You're
up.
a douche.
I'm like,
You're a fucking douche.
I'm like,
man.
let's play some fucking pool. I'm about to take your money and you can buy me a beer. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the difference in it. But that's why I think like going to a bar is different from like doing a podcast or just hanging out somewhere. You know,
Yeah.
You know, it's different because at a bar it's usually louder. You have to talk a lot louder, and some guys don't know how to regulate their volume.
Mm-hmm.
They really don't know how to regulate the volume, especially in loud environments. They feel like they have to be. I have to hear myself over everybody else for my point to get across.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't hear myself, then you can't hear me either.
Mm-hmm. But that's exactly it, and then that puts off people. Like no matter who it is, I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to fucking talk to you now.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, and I think it's about I don't know if placement's the word. Placement's not the word. It's about the environment, right? So if you are going through some tough fucking hard times, right? My first instinct isn't, hey man, let's go out to the bar, bro. You're going through a tough time. My first instinct isn't, hey, let's go to the bar. Let's drink at the bar. My first instinct is like, hey man, come to the house, dude. Let's drink a beer. You know, it's quiet here. We can, toss on a movie in the background or whatever you do. If you want to fucking talk, you can talk. If you want to play some fucking video games, I got the Sega, the Nintendo, the fucking PlayStations, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or if you just want to sit somewhere that's not at home, just to kind of unwind. You want to drink a beer at the house? Hey, come by.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? The environment matters.
It does.
The environment is a very, very important aspect when it comes to discussing anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Most businesses take place in a very upscale, fancy restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Something personal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As opposed to like, hey, let's go to a fucking sports bar and talk about $1 million deal. Right?
Yeah.
Do they do that in business? Fuck no. They go somewhere where
You
it's...
do it in movies?
Yeah. Right. So, but, that's reality versus, fiction. But in all actuality, when people handle business, it tends to be in a place that's a little bit quieter and,
Mm-hmm.
where you can have a discussion where it's just loud enough to where you both can have a conversation without being heard. Or if, you're going to do it somewhere else, it's in private, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing with personal conversations.
Well, it was like if you go to a bar, like any bar, just for whatever reason, right? And if you just sit and listen to the conversations people are having, if it's men, it's bullshit conversations.
A lot of times, yeah, absolutely.
It's bullshit.
It sounds like some shit from Grand Theft Auto, dude.
Yeah.
No, so the reason I bring that up, right? So sometimes I have shit to do, right? We'll play Grand Theft Auto together. Sometimes I'll have shit to do. Sometimes he'll have shit to do. Be like, hey, I'll be right back. So sometimes you'll just sit there, I'll sit outside of his business, or he'll sit outside of my business, and you just listen to the people walking by having the random conversations. And some of the conversations you hear are like, what in the fuck? And then we'll come back and tell each other, like, dude, this fucking NPC just said this shit, right? It's like people out in the world, when you're hearing the random conversations, it's like hearing an NPC talking Grand Theft Auto. You're like, it's out of context, but then, it's also bullshit, and you're like,
yeah, like
what the fuck?
Did I just hear that right?
It's not super relevant to anything.
No.
It's always just some random shit. Ever.
Like, dude, oh my god, man, I went to the restroom, dude, pulled out my dick to piss, and dude, I started chafing. What? How did you were chafing beforehand? You had to be. No, yeah, man, and then I put it back in, peed a little bit. It was crazy. I don't know, maybe I need adult diapers? It's just fucking random conversations you just hear. You're like, depends? You need depends? You need depends. You need depends. That's what happened.
Probably.
Right. I've seen these coupons in the fucking thing.
But that's also kind of why I think, though, like, especially when we have guests on and when we're not recording, at least usually when we're not recording, and for any guest who comes on and wants to talk about something personal, just let us know. We'll wait some break time or whatever, we'll get personal. That's what happened last week.
Yeah.
It's, if you don't want shit aired, we're not going to air it.
Right.
We'll try to, respect everybody's privacy. But even on fucking recording songs, we've had some people, like, just belt out shit that's bothering them, and I'm just like, but I realize it's more of a welcoming environment. We sit and talk, we have a couple of beers. We're not fucking pounding shit down, but we have a couple of beers and we're talking and we're laughing. Most of the time it's laughing, dude, and I cannot count how many fucking times I go through and edit some episodes and I'm just laughing my ass off the stupid shit we're saying. And then Michelle's like, "Are you editing an episode right?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, oh god, these fucking idiots, these fucking guys are driving me nuts. Some bullshit. What the fuck are we talking about?" But then we also have those fucking moments to where I'm like, fuck, I need to stop doing this for a minute. I need to fucking wipe tears from my eyes. I'm emotional. Dude, I'm serious. It's like that sometimes. Fucking editing this shit sometimes will get me going through like an emotional roller coaster. I'm just like, fuck, I need to take a break. I need to stop for a minute.
Well, yeah.
I need to eat something.
It can, because it can be emotional. The thing is,
but that's not something to shy away from, though.
No.
No, not at all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, plenty of times off camera, I've had instances where I've had one too many, and I get up in my fucking feelings and I cry a little bit, and it's it is what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I used to be, and I really picked this up from my dad, and I really, my whole life, growing up, my dad was a man's man. Mm-hmm. My dad did not cry. My dad did not complain. My dad just busted his ass worked. You know what I'm saying? When I was a kid, before he started working at the prison, he was working at this place over on the east side. It's gone now because they moved to Mexico or some shit. But it was called Eagle Picture. They used to build all the cat machines. You know what I'm saying? Like the fucking excavators, the front end loaders, all that shit. So he used to work there, and then when he'd get off work, he'd go work a shift at Taco Villa. He'd go work over there because at the time my Thea was a GM over there. So he would go work that. So my dad was working 2 fucking jobs, just to make sure that we had fucking food. Plus my mom was working at the time too. Mm-hmm. But my dad, little did I know, now, knowing, my mom and dad, they were going through some shit. You know what I'm saying? I remember hearing the fighting, but I never really knew what my dad was going through.
Yeah.
And even with all of that, I've seen my dad cry maybe 3 times. And was one time, and I don't want to, talk about that here, at least not recording, but, I found my dad in a very peculiar situation, and, I was young when I found him in that position. And I guess growing up seeing that, a lot of the times, I never really went to people to cry. Mm-hmm. I just internalized everything, and I handled everything the way I was taught to handle it, when I was young. Just fucking drink. Just fucking drink. Fucking drink. You'll drink and you'll cry. You'll get your crying out. You'll do it alone. No one has to see it. No one has to deal with your fucking mess, and then you go on about your business. And little did I realize that's super fucking unhealthy.
It is.
It's extremely fucking unhealthy. And it took me such a long time to realize that I needed to get myself out of that fucking hole. Because drinking the amount that I was drinking just to numb the pain that I fucking had, not have people deal with my shit and put on this fucking face and facade, and instead of dealing with the problem, shoveling it down, made things worse. Mm-hmm. It made things so fucking much worse. Which is why back then I was such an angry individual. Because I tried to tell Bree, me and her, we've been together almost 5 years. And I told her, if you had met me 2 years prior to when we met, I was a violent individual. I was a violent, angry fucking person. And I'm not that way anymore. I'll get violent if I need to. Mm-hmm. But it's not going to be my first choice. I'd rather talk it out. Hey, if you're feeling that upset about it, hey man, I'll go buy you a 6-pack of beer. We could sit on this fucking curb and we could talk about problems. We could talk about life, man. Mm-hmm. I got nothing but time, brother.
Well, see, I think that's a lot of men's problem is, one, they isolate. They self-isolate like that. They isolate, and I've seen plenty of my friends and family and lots of people. I've fucking done it. I've done it.
This group, not including him, you know the circle I'm talking about.
Yeah. Self-isolation and so on, it turns fucking toxic.
Ugly.
Very fucking
ugly.
Most recent experience for me, dude, and I still hate to fucking admit that it's been less than a year. Whenever my dad died, I internalized that shit. I wanted to self-isolate. Whenever he died, I just focused on, I still went to work. I still handled all the business I had to handle, funeral arrangements and all that other shit. And then I told him, hey, I need to take a break from the show. And that was the only thing I did. I said, hey, I just need to take a break from the show. That was the only thing I cut
Not
off.
even that, dude. We fucking told you, hey, if you need to take time, you need to take break, dude. Like the thing is,
and
like,
it was only 1 week. I only took 1 week off.
No, it was 2 weeks.
Was it 2 weeks?
It was 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Because the first week you were handling all the funeral arrangements and everything else, and that second week you just needed time.
Yeah.
And then after that you
got back in.
Yeah, got back. Well, you had us over, and so.
And see, that was the thing. Like the day before that, we had a cookout for my dad because my dad loved to have cookouts with the family and shit. So everybody's in town. For Dad, we're gonna have a cookout. Yeah, I had a couple too many. A couple things were said, and it came out. It came out toxically. Life ending bad. And I mean that literally. And it was super bad. And my wife had never seen me get that fucking bad before. She's seen me get mad, but not that.
Yeah.
And it came out real bad. I said a lot of things to a lot of family. And honestly, to this day, at the time, I still meant it. But my family's pretty fucked.
Right.
But
because you were drinking and internalized it,
you
could have maybe put it.
You could have
put it more delicately.
Yeah, it could have came out a lot more mature than it did.
Right.
But that's not the people I wanted to come out to. Not the people I wanted to break down my little wall that I had built up that last 2 weeks. I said, hey, I called friends over. I said, hey, I want to come by, have a couple of drinks. Came by, had a couple of drinks, and I bawled.
We sure did.
I fucking bawled.
We sure did. We cried together.
Yeah, I bawled hard. Fucking music playing. I didn't give a fuck what was going on. Drinking, and we weren't even drinking that much.
No, we weren't. But
it was just the emotion that had me fucked up, and that helped me out a lot. It did. It helped me out a lot to fucking all right. I finally come to terms with funerals already over with. It came to terms for me finally accepting that this is what has happened. And my life will never be the same again.
Nope.
And it hasn't. Of course it hasn't. He's gone. But, I still have the times of remembering him. But it's not, wearing me down that way no more.
No.
I will still have my moments, when somebody sings me a super sad-ass depressing song. But
I've done that twice. Okay.
But I love it. I love the song because it helped. Because, I hadn't cried for him in, a month. And he had sent it to me, and I was like, bro, I'm at work right now. I'll listen to it later. And I'm so glad I listened to it later.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, I really. He's like, I'm at work right now. I was like, oh, fuck, I hope he doesn't listen to this at work. Fuck, man.
I'm so glad I didn't listen to it.
And it's funny, because it's weird. Every time I fucking find one of these songs that, I send to him, I've sent him 2 songs. It's by the same guy. Every time
he won American Idol, did you know?
I did not know that.
Yeah, he won.
That's good, man. Good for him. But, so there was this big old Samoan motherfucker. You know that Samoans, man. They're fucking huge.
You sent me that song.
Yeah. So
his dad had passed away.
Yeah.
And
I sent him that same song.
Oh.
And sent that to him because the thing is, it made me emotional because I love my dad so fucking much. And as much as I've accepted the reality that, and I've dealt with it plenty of times before, losing people dying, the thought of losing my dad scares the absolute fucking shit out of me. And it terrifies me. It makes me sad. Because that man, the way I describe my dad is that's my Goku. I'm Gohan, that's Goku to me. My dad has been my absolute everything. And I've seen everything. My sisters may have turned their blind eye and treat my dad like shit, but I've seen everything that man has gone through. And to this day, I don't know if a lot of kids even say this about their parents, but for my dad, I'm proud of him. Mm-hmm. I'm happy for him that he got to find happiness with the woman that he's with. And that he's doing good. Because I saw him when he was at his absolute fucking lowest. And it scares the fucking shit out of me. It terrifies me. Because I don't know how I will be able to deal with that. I've dealt with a lot of death. But the thought of losing my dad, it fucking saddens. It's not even... I can't even put it into words. The thought of losing him. And when he went through what he went through, I was like, I can't even fucking imagine. Because I still have my fucking dad. Mm-hmm. So when I hear these songs, I was like... I send these to men who, I know how you feel about your dad because you feel about your dad the same way I feel about my dad. And with him losing his dad, dude, I was like, fuck, man, I can't even imagine. That scares the absolute shit out of me. And so when I send him those songs, I'm like, fuck, man. Like, I'll sit there and listen to it. I'll shed a little tear. I'm like, man, dude, I gotta send this, man. I gotta send this. You know, even though I know it may make him a little sad, even though I know he may cry a little bit, it keeps that fucking thing, it keeps it alive in him.
But and it's good though, because like I said, when I listened to it the first time, because I woke up the next morning and I was like, all right, fuck, I forgot to sing this song. I need to look at it. I need to listen to it. And I was half asleep, and I was like, oh, this sounds like a good song. And then I heard more of it, and I was like, all right, rewind. Let's do it. And I was actually waking up a little more. I was like, okay, I think it needs another one. And that third one, all of it just started coming out. I was like, fuck. And I'm still in bed. I haven't even got out of bed yet. I'm just like, fuck. Ugh.
You know what's
fucking? I think I listened to it like 8-9 times.
With my grandma and grandpa, my grandma passed away first. 2 days after my birthday, I got to see her on my birthday, and I hugged her, and she gave me her my usual. She gave me $20 like she usually does on my birthday, and you know, then kind of went for my day, and I ended up finding out that she passed, and she was going for a checkup, and she was sitting in the passenger side. Her sister got out, walked around, opened the door, and my grandma was gone. Wow. Nobody got to say bye. She didn't say bye to anybody. And I think that's really what got me in my grandmother's passing, because I talked to her 2 days before that.
Yeah.
And it was like my dad didn't get to say bye, you know, and they tried to resuscitate her and nothing.
It's always those regrets, man. Like my biggest regret with my dad is something I wish I could always take back a lot. Is that the last time I saw him alive, I was too busy to give him a hug. He went by, picked up. I think I had some mail dropped off there randomly. Went and picked it up, and it was like, all right, him and my grandma were leaving, because it was my grandparents, but they raised me, so I call them mom and dad. They were leaving to go, I think, pick up my cousin or something, and then didn't even hug my grandma or my granddad, my dad, but, you know, all right, see you guys later, I'll talk to you later, bye. Like, and I was too busy for them. But honest, dude, I just went home and just sat down and watched TV. I regret that shit so much. And I could have just waited 5 more seconds to give him a hug.
I think it's the absences or the regrets that really, because I didn't cry because, like, I didn't spend enough time with my grandma. I cried because I wasn't able to say bye.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what hurt me the most. My little brother was in Ireland. My grandpa was on his deathbed. They said, you know, he probably might not make it. The day before my brother got in, he was going to go see my grandpa that night. And my dad, he was thinking, he was like, you know what, it's late. I'll just let him. Woke up in the morning, found out my grandpa passed away. He didn't see him for the past 2.5 years. And I guarantee you that got to him. But I think it's just the absence that gets us.
It is, man. Like how, you know, Fabian talks about his dad. I remember my dad having a stroke and still went to work the same day.
What?
He had a minor stroke, but it's still a fucking stroke.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He had a fucking stroke, and I thought he was just tired and didn't want to get up for work. And got up, didn't even notice, bro. I didn't notice. He got up, got ready, was a little upset that he was gonna be late for work. Still went to work, and then come to find out, like, my grandma told me a couple of days later that he had a stroke. That he had while he was at the, because he worked at the hospital. That he said he was having pains and all stuff. They checked him while he was there. Said that he had a stroke. He had signs of a stroke. Yeah, and this motherfucker didn't miss work.
Nope.
Did not miss work. He came out of retirement. He retired. Came out of retirement and went back to work and was back at work for like maybe 2-3 months before he passed. I think he was only retired for maybe a year. So he couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand being home. Just working, man. Fucking work. You know, we were talking earlier about smooth hands. This motherfucker had rough fucking hands. Callous like a motherfucker. But he worked with his hands his whole life.
My dad was a concrete worker, and always busy, always doing something around the yard. And now he has like 3 bulging discs, and his back, his ankles.
Yeah.
He could barely get out of his recliner without grunting or making some.
All that, yeah.
And I'm like, you know, I've gone through my ups and downs with my dad, but when he goes, I know that everything that he could have possibly taught me is gonna be with me.
Dude, and I feel the same. I was talking to my wife earlier. My job is paying for my CDL, and I was at work the other day, and I move semis around all the time as it is, and now I'm getting paid to get my actual CDL to be on the road. And I was thinking about it like while I was moving a fucking trailer, and I was like, man, I'm doing this shit like it's fucking nothing now. But I remember when I was learning how to drive, I learned on my dad's fucking Ford Ranger. I was worried that I was, dude. Yeah, I was worried that I was in a fucking because I was worried about the truck, the tailbed and shit. Yeah, I was worried about I was in a fucking cliff of tree or something if I turned too sharply. And I remember sitting there, I was like, Dad, I gotta turn real wide. He's like, no, Mijo, you're gonna be fine. I was like, Dad, I gotta turn real wide, don't I? Because the tail of the truck is gonna hit something, right? He's like, no, Mijo, you're gonna be fine. Little fucking Ford Ranger and shit. Yeah. And I'm over here driving semis and shit in this tiny parking lot like it's nothing. I'm like, damn. And I thought about it, like, damn. I bet like if I told my dad now that I went for my CDL, he'd probably laugh. He's like, man, when you fucking learned how to drive, you all scared about everything. I was like, damn. I'm sure he'd fucking laugh at that. Yeah. But like, you know, there's just shit like that. I don't know. I remember all the lessons and shit. At the time, I was a teenager and thought he was full of shit. You know, all the lessons and shit he tried to tell me, and like, whatever. I know better. I know what I'm doing.
You're a teenager, you don't know.
You know, and then now that I think back on it, you know, and this was even before he passed. You know, I started realizing all the lessons and shit he was teaching me, and all. As fucked up as my family is, my dad never turned away anybody. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my aunts came to him with some problems, whatever. It's okay, Mijo. It's okay, Mijo. You know, we got a small ass 2-bedroom house. We fit 20 of these motherfuckers in. God damn. It was never that bad. Bro, it was a point to where like it was my grandparents, like fucking my uncle, his girl, their kids, and then like my aunt and their kids, and like a tiny house, bro, like half the size of my house. And like he never said no. He would never say no. And I remember the last time I had to go back to him. This is whenever I split up with an ex and I lost all the shit I had and I had nowhere to go, and I was like, Dad, I'm sorry. And do you mind if I just crash here for a day or two? Oh, dude, it wasn't even like, you gotta fucking pay this. And I was like, alright, man, that's fine. Come on, you sleep on the couch. It's the only room we got left. I was like, alright. And like, dude, it got bad to where like, I was sleeping in the kitchen on the floor. But like, it's because there's nowhere else to sleep, and it was fine. Like, he was like, alright, everybody calm down. You gotta wake up in the work in the morning. Quiet, you know. And I'm like, he didn't have to do this. Like, it's my fucking house. I do as loud as I fucking want. You know what I mean? He was like, no, we're family. I'm gonna help you out, take care of you, and like, and it did. And then I know a lot of my family never showed him the appreciation that he deserved. Yeah, never did. And dude, and it was like that growing up. It was like that growing up, dude. It was like that growing up, and we all thought, and I thought as a kid, I thought this man was the devil because he had nobody to vent to. He had no friends. You know, all he did was work. And yeah, at times he would get violent, he would get angry, and like he'd come out in the wrong ways. But he had nobody to vent to. He had nobody to talk to.
I mean, it's a different. You got to understand, it was a different time.
Yeah,
I'm saying their only way they knew to let it out was.
But I noticed when he got older, he made some friends that would come over. They work on the trucks with them. Yeah, he was a lot calmer.
Right.
I didn't know what the fuck they were talking about. You know, it's dad, his friends, they're doing their own thing. Yeah. Fucking with cars, laughing, drinking a couple of beers, and getting mad at something breaking or something. But he was calmer everywhere else now. He wasn't so angry, so violent. Because now that I think back about it, he had that somebody to vent to talk to, just to bitch about whatever. This fucking woman's driving me fucking nuts, or this motherfucker at work's pissing me off. You know, you have somebody to vent to and to talk to. Yeah. And like, that's why I hype on that so much now, because I saw the change it made in my dad having somebody to talk to, just to fucking bitch about something. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? And like, that's something big we talk about a lot on here.
Yeah. See, and like one of the things that I think it's a Bree. She always harps on me for it, but so like when I go to my aunt's house, right? Mm-hmm. You know, normally her and my uncle are both over there, right? Mm-hmm. They're both Marines. I could sit there and talk with them for fucking hours. hours. Hours and hours upon hours. She's like, fucking hour and a half in, she's like, I'm ready to go home. I'm like, shit, man, we only started this conversation, goddammit.
Like, we just said hi.
Yeah, we barely got done saying hello, right? So, you know, it just depends on who you are as a person, because I know that, you know, as a Marine, you know, I don't have a lot of Marine friends here, you know, so I have a couple. But, you know what I'm saying, like, my main boys, like, the dudes I served with, you know what I'm saying, like, especially my boy Seychelles, like I told you, like, that's my boy, that's my nigga, like, ride or die, like, he called me tomorrow, hey, I need you here in Oregon. I don't got the money, but nigga, I'm gonna figure out a way. I will be there, because that's my boy, you know what I'm saying, and it sometimes does get lonely, especially when I first got out, dude, goddamn, I felt so isolated, everything felt alien to me, and it just, I don't know, dude. I fucking thought I was never gonna fit the fuck back in.
I think that's a big thing for men, is that isolation, not self-induced isolation. I don't know nobody. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to talk to about any fucking thing. I don't know where to go to take a shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's that extreme isolation that's not put on yourself. We all have our own, like, I'm dealing with some shit, I need to fucking focus and not really bother nobody right now. I want to do my shit. That's a different isolation. This is environmentally imposed isolation that can really fuck with you.
Yeah.
And it's getting past that to find people that you can identify with in some fucking form or fashion, any fucking way. You know what I mean? Like, at all. You and I will never see the same eye to eye on Sig.
Fuck you.
But we'll still go to the together.
Yeah, we will.
But, you know, it's just the small things. You cannot find people who will fit perfectly jigsaw puzzle together with you. You'll find somebody that there'll be a little bit of a corner piece and you'll be a little bit of a jagged piece, but you'll find something that links together, and that's important. It's important to have that small thing of commonality together.
Yeah.
And without a segue, I wanted to bring up, how do y'all feel about Memorial Day, since it's right on the corner?
Monday.
It's Monday, I think. Yeah.
I mean,
because y'all have a different aspect on it than I do. Y'all have a different, like, I know more.
For me, man, I mean, with Memorial Day, I know for a lot of people it's just an opportunity to day off, party, drink.
Yeah. 3-day weekend, yeah. You know.
For a lot of people who've lost people in the service, it has a different meaning.
Day of remembrance.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people tend to get confused, you know. Especially with, like, the veteran community, a lot of people have a tendency to, you know, say, oh, well, you know, thank you for your service. Like, no, motherfucker, don't thank me.
Yeah.
I'm not dead.
Yeah, like, I'm the one who made it back.
I didn't die. You know, like, this is for people who you know, are fallen brothers and sisters, whether it was in combat or after the fact, you know. People who you served with, people who you knew, you know, in high school who went to go serve and you kept in touch with, you know, it's about your fallen brothers and sisters, and I think a lot of people should respect that a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I get, you know, for a lot of people, they truly don't comprehend it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think
they
it's
don't
more of an ignorance thing?
I think so. But the thing is, it's like with the law, right? You know, ignorance is no excuse. You have the ability to educate yourself. You choose not to.
But then it's, I see where you're coming from on that, but you try to explain a military mentality to somebody, and it's
No, I get that.
They can probably grasp it, but
They will never understand it because they weren't there.
Exactly.
And I get that, and that's why I've kind of. When I first got out of the Marine Corps, I was a very angry individual. Especially, this was during that time frame where people were fucking burning flags on shit. You know, I had made one of those stupid fucking posts. I posted up my flag and, you know, behind me, and I fucking had my AR, my plate carrier. I was like, you know, come fucking burn my fucking flag, bitch. I'll fucking kill you, motherfucking ass. You know what I'm saying? And I was an angry individual back then. You know, and I get, you know, the whole fucking purpose and reason behind serving is so that way people have those freedoms. But it pissed me off because in a way it felt like you're pissing on the fucking memory of people who've
Who died?
fucking died for that fucking flag.
All gave some gave all.
Yeah. And so it's a conflicting thing for me. You know, it's just a time to remember, you know, my people, and just to, you know, deal with that my way. For other people, you know, I mean, all I can say is, you know, get educated. That's all I can really say about it. Get educated about what Memorial Day is and its intended purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because it's much more than just barbecues. Yeah, you know what? You can fucking barbecue for your boys and have some beers and shit, but understand the true purpose behind it. Because there's a lot of fucking people, especially over the past 20 fucking years, 20 plus fucking years, that died in fucking a conflict that, I to say the least, is controversial as to whether or not we even fucking belonged over there. But I won't get into that.
Not the subject.
No, but I mean, the thing is, you know, I understand that there are people out there, the way that you think about your dad, you know, they think about the people they've lost, you know, the people that meant just as much.
I'd like it if, you know, I didn't even like go overseas or anything, but like when I hear people saying, "Oh, what are you gonna do for Memorial Day?" and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go to the park and barbecue," like, why don't you stop by one of the memorial sites? You know,
Pay your respects.
Pay your respect, because when you're doing that, you're not only relaying what you're gonna do for that day to a friend or whatever, but your kids that are watching you, you know, they're gonna end up growing up, oh, it's just a barbecue day. You know, they're never gonna fully understand, you know,
unless they
this day is for in remembrance of the
and see, like
active duty.
You know, for me, I never served, you know, but you know, my brother-in-law served. You know, I have y'all. You know, I know people who have served and everything, and that's not the same thing. Nowhere near the same fucking thing. But like for my kids and everything, our boys, you know, we were talking about Memorial Day the other day, and I asked them the same thing. I was like, "What is Memorial Day about?" And just to kind of test them, and they know it's for fallen soldiers. And like, because, you know, we've talked to them about that stuff too, and even like their uncle, my brother-in-law, have talked to them about that. Like, this is what it's for. It's not just a party and barbecue and drinks like that. Yeah, you can celebrate, you know, whatever, you know, that's fine and dandy. And like, but you gotta understand the true meaning behind it and why we do this. And like, and I'm glad that they fucking knew what it meant, because if they didn't, then, you know, we had that going through a whole lecture.
You have to take them to school.
Well, like, you know,
going to learn today, boy.
Well, like for me, you know, I have a tremendous amount of respect for people who have served, you know, in any capacity, you know, but I never try to be in any way disrespectful about any of the, you know, the holidays, you know, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, any of it. You know, I always try. That's why, like, I always ask you, like, hey, how do you feel about it? You know, how, you know, this and that, because I want to know people's perspective. Because I'm sure there's at least some veteran out there who, fuck it, bro, let's party it up. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's some.
Right.
You know?
And that's probably what they did with their buddies, you know. They went out, you know, and
it's like their way of remembering.
Yeah, like, hey, motherfucker, let's go to strip club, then we're going back to the bricks. I mean, we're going back to the house. We're playing Edward 40 Hands. I'm going to win this time.
Yeah, but it's more of like in a sense of like a remembrance of what you did with that person.
They're doing it by themselves, but who are they talking to? They're talking talking to their boy.
So, another question I have, and this is more just curiosity. I saw this video. It sounds legit, for real. But like on like the tombstones, the place like the penny, the dime, quarter, and all kind of stuff. Is that like a legit thing or no?
It depends on your religion, really, because that whole thing derives from paying the toll.
Yeah, I get that, but like, what was that? I gotta find that video again. It was like a penny was for like just a regular person visiting, you know, a soldier's grave, and then I think it's like a nickel was for somebody who served like in the same branch, and then like a dime was somebody who served in like the same unit, and then like a quarter was somebody who was there when he died.
Oh wow, I've never.
I never heard that before, but like it was some guy. I guess he was like at a gravestone, and like it was a duet stitch thing, and some guy was like, "Man, I'm tired of these people putting these coins on these graves," and then like, he picked it up. And I was like, dude, you should not be taking anything off of anybody's fucking grave.
Fuck no.
I was like, even if you don't know what it's about, you do not take shit off people's graves.
That's not okay.
And then some other dude stepped on there, and like he was talking about that. He says a penny is for, you know, just person visiting, paying their respects, just an average person. And then like a dime is somebody served in the same branch. And then a nickel is for somebody served in the same branch. A dime is for like somebody who was in the same unit, and then a quarter was somebody who was with them when they died. And I was like,
So I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I never
because
heard of that before.
the way, I mean, it's always, the way I've always seen it done, you go and take things to them that were personal to them.
Yeah.
If you were that fucking close to them, I doubt, hey, my boy put a fucking quarter on my shit, you know what I mean? Like, hey,
I'm gonna drink some gumballs.
Hey, my boy, bring me some fucking Jameson, bring me a fucking Hustler, and a goddamn thing of Vaseline, because I'm going to need it in the afterlife. Boy, we spanking the monkey, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, if you really knew that person, you take them the things that they...
Go ahead and get a mobile stripper pole and a stripper to come out here.
Hell yeah.
One last lap dance for the year.
Right.
Get her to bounce off my tombstone one or two times.
Right. And so...
I want one of those tombstones like on the ground so they get as close to my body as possible.
Tell her to put her ass on the face of my tombstone. She's like, But, in all seriousness, if you really knew the person like that, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, if I find that video again, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that's fine. But I've never heard of that. And me personally, if it's somebody I knew like that, I'm taking you things that I remember you for. The things I remember, like for me, specifically what I tend to remember people for are their drinks.
Yeah.
Their drinks. I believe flat out, I've always said this, you cannot judge a man for their vice. You cannot. Every fucking person has their vice, man. Shopping, drinking, smoking, strippers, hookers, coke, blow, heroin, whatever. Man.
We get the point, okay?
Right, everyone has their...
Name me off my shopping list, alright?
But everyone has their fucking vices, you know what I'm saying? And for me, it's like I said earlier, for my uncle, I always, I will go fucking smoke a block of mouth when he passes. And, for my grandpa, when my grandpa passes, there's tequila. All the way, 1800. He loves that shit. He get fucked up off that shit.
And see, I feel the same way too, though.
Yeah.
It's like for Chad, when we go out there, it's always like a Dr. Pepper and some fucking Southern Comfort or Kentucky Gentleman. One of those two. I'm just like...
You motherfuckers always bring Southern Comfort. And
I actually don't mind Southern Comfort.
It makes me uncomfortable.
But like I said,
it's supposed to bring comfort.
Yeah.
It does the opposite.
And see, like I said earlier, for you, whenever you go, I'm bringing some of that fighting spirit because I remember that was your housewarming present, and then that's the first bottle we started for this. So we have a lot of memory. I saw the fucking bottle here, which we're gonna turn into an infinity bottle later.
Yeah.
But that's what I remember for you.
Infinity bottle.
Infinity bottle is basically, you know how you do suicides at the convenience store, just liquor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then once it's a certain level, then you start taking a shot of it and see how the flavor is supposed to change and shit. It's a fancy way of just mixing shit together.
It's like that shit they do for mess nights. But they fucking do more fucked up shit, man.
Oh, I'm sure.
They put Tabasco, toothpaste, MRE cheese, and a whole bunch of different liquor. No, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. Now, trust me. No. You don't want to.
God,
Nope. Anyways, so yeah, personal things, man. That's what matters.
Yeah.
I'll probably go see my boy Rod because he's here.
Yeah.
I haven't been to his grave since he passed. Since the funeral. I feel really bad about that. It's just really hard to go out there and see him. Just funny enough, this is the guy who relayed the information to me when Rod passed, and it's fucked up because one of the last things I remember fucking seeing Rod in his truck, and he fucking hit me up. He's like, "Hey man, we're gonna drink." I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude! You want some beer?" And he's like, "Nah, man, I don't drink whiskey." I was like, all right, well, let's see what an officer can do against a fucking enlistment. Let's get fucked up. And that was I was in July, August time frame, and we never really got together, and then he was gone. So I'll go and see him. I'll take him out some whiskey because I know he really liked it.
Yeah. It's always tough. That first visit after they pass, I think, is always like one of the hardest. Because I haven't visited my dad yet since he passed, and it's coming up on a year since he's been gone.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's difficult. I think that first one is really difficult.
I forget I had some videos of Rod
Yeah.
on my phone.
Crazy bastard, man.
So
Rod was a trip, man. Like, I remember he told me all about because I always thought it was weird when we were in ROTC together and shit, because they had to get special hot dogs from, like kosher hot dogs, because he was like he said his religion, he was a 7-day Adventist.
Yeah.
what?
7-day Adventist.
Advent, I think.
Or yeah, it was like something like that. 7-day Advent or Adventist or whatever the fuck. But I always thought it was weird, because he's like, I was like, yo, smash one of these hot dogs, my boy. I love this. He's like, I don't eat pork. And I was like, what? He's like, because of my religion. I was like, oh, you Muslim. You Muslim. You're Muslim. You don't do all pork. I get it. All right, bro. And he was like, no, I'm a 7-day Adventist. I was like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? And he like tried to explain it to me, but I wasn't comprehending what the fuck he said. I was like, hey man, you know what? You're cool. Hey, you be a 7-day Adventist. We cool, man. We cool. But yeah, Rod was a trip, man. I remember I remember Rod very heavily because he wanted so hard to be a Marine. He wanted to be a Marine so fucking bad. And all the time he was hitting me up like, hey man, I know you're in the Marine Corps and all this shit. What should I do? Because he was trying to go officer route.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of shit wound up happening, and I remember telling him like, hey man, fuck that. You know what? You're almost done with college. Go fucking enlisted, then go Mustang, because you're almost done with college. Serve your time in service that you need. Finish up your college degree while you're doing that, and then fucking transition to an officer. And they wind up doing that.
Yep.
And I was so fucking proud of him. I was like, fuck yeah, dude. You're one of the good ones. You don't have to deal with the bullshit. And you're going to make that real money, man, And the thing is, like, he never gave up. And he had some issues, Had some love issues and stuff. I remember talking to him about that girl. But, he was...
They all did in ROTC.
Fuck, man. Who did, man?
I didn't. I'll tell you that too.
Okay.
I didn't date anybody in ROTC, dude. Like,
dude, I was only after one person in ROTC. There was only just one.
Everybody was screwing everybody.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Dude, that's everywhere. If you're in a group of people for too damn long,
someone's gonna want to fucking.
You start fucking, bro. When we're not recording, I gotta tell y'all some stories about my workout. I can't say it because I can get fired. Because people been getting fired. Like high level up people been getting fired.
God
shit.
Oh.
All I gotta say is OnlyFans was involved.
Oh,
holy shit.
That's crazy.
If I had like an OnlyFans account, I would want to look it up just to see it.
Jesus Christ.
But no, it would be funny. But anyways, I think we're going to start wrapping it up.
Yeah, that's fine, because I got to take a piss.
What did I fucking tell you?
Hey, it's the end of the episode, so I waited through the whole fucking episode, man.
He said it was the end of the episode when you always try to do that.
It's always towards the end of the episode. The motherfucker got to get up like 5 times.
I got to take a piss, man.
Alright, guys. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hope y'all have a great Memorial Day, and remember what it's really about. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Rumble, all that good jazz. Go check out Fabian's Twitch channel.
Yep, go check me out. Fucking twitch.com/RPGs. Me and Bree are hopefully going to try to stream some A Way Out, hopefully soon. If not, I'll try to figure out something to stream. I know I've been lacking, but we're trying to get the house in order. It's kind of a pain in the ass, but we're pretty much where we need to be. We just got a couple more boxes to unload and things like that. And then we're also prepping for what?
A Way Out, isn't that prison game?
Yeah, it's a prison game. Yeah,
okay, yeah.
So, and then we'll be leaving for Vegas. Not this week, but the week following, we'll be going to Vegas. So,
I might have to give you a camera or something so you can record your trip.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I'm all about it, man. Fucking RPGs and fucking goddamn blue collar shock in the motherfucking house. I'm not gonna do any gambling in Vegas though. If I do, it's only gonna be slots. I'm not trying to fucking lose a fortune at the blackjack tables, man.
Don't. Don't come.
Hey, you know
At
what?
At least come out of the casino with as much money as you went.
Right. Here's the thing with slots. You know, like the only time I've ever gambled, I gambled with my grandmother. She gave me $20. I almost lost the whole $20, and I wind up winning 110.
Nice.
So, I did some fucking.
My record is good so far. Out of the 8 times I've been in the casino, I've always walked out with more money than I walked in with.
Yes.
But it's a lot of self control. But like, I'm up, baby. Oh, fuck, let's go.
Let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here. Let's leave while I am ahead. Exactly. We gotta leave while you're ahead, man.
I gotta leave while I'm ahead. I think my greatest gap between two, I walked in with $50 and walked out with 800 and something.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
But then I was like, gonna hit that mark. I was like, woo! Nope. No, let's go. Let's get the fuck out. I'm done.
I gotta go. Gotta go, dog.
All right. Anyways, again, thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you, Tiberias, for being on again.
Yes, of course.
Thank
I
you.
hope-
It's awesome. It's always awesome having you on as a guest, man.
I'm glad you didn't taste no farts this time.
Oh yeah, this.
He's like, I'm sorry, I had no farts.
Drinking my cream cane sugar from World Market.
Nice. Speaking of, so I just thought of it since I do want to do, when we start doing our Spirits of the Week again, that Texas Ranger that had that peanut butter whiskey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Screwball?
I tried it.
No, it's not Screwball.
It's
It's
another
a
one?
different
It's
peanut
better.
butter whiskey, and they say it's better
And cheaper.
and cheaper.
Yeah.
So
you
what-
can't get better and cheaper.
Yo,
in
you
the
can.
Same.
You can.
You can.
Abso-fucking-lutely
You can, because you know why? Screwball made in California. Texas Rangers made here in Texas, baby.
Okay, screwball then. Made it.
You didn't know that Screwball's made in
No,
It's
California.
made in Cali, man.
All I saw was peanut butter. I was like, I'm down.
Screwball's made in Cali, bro. Screwball's made in Cali.
Okay, no
All
more
right.
screwball then.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching again, and as always,
Make love loudly and make war silently.
later.